Hi, welcome to Shyamal's Game Analysis Show, where we showcase all the chess games of my time in the last X years. And this is episode 2. And today we're going to be talking about a game where I was black and Gur 90 was white. Okay, Gur 90 was 1722, I was 1697. This was 4 weeks ago, 30 minutes. 10-second increment casual classical game on Lichess. Okay, so we start out with a typical opening from both sides. He moves queen pawn to d4, and I reciprocate by moving my queen pawn to d5. Then he tries to protect his pawn on d4 with a knight to f3. Okay, and I reciprocate by going after his pawn on d4 by moving knight to c6. Okay, then he opens up the diagonal for his bishop by moving king pawn to e3. Then I say, oh, this is a great opportunity. Why don't we pin his knight on his queen with a move from bishop to g4. So you can see this here, this diagonal here. I'm pretty much pinned him, so prevent him from moving anywhere until he has some sort of support. So he responds, he or she responds with a bishop to d3 to see if he can control the center of the board and start developing and start castling kingside. I reciprocate by moving my knight to f6, trying to control that precious square on e4 eventually. Then this gets really interesting. Instead of castling kingside, the other player moves their pawn to c3. I reciprocate by moving my pawn to e6, opening up the diagonal for my black bishop. And then to support that knight, they move their knight to d2 to support their knight on f3. And then I move my bishop out to e7 to set up the castle kingside or queenside. Castle kingside from the white player, and then I move my queen to move over so I can have both sides equally open. The queen now gets involved, getting really involved by making it a very interesting game because now it's supporting that bishop on that diagonal. So from on d3 and then c4 and then b5 and then a6. Okay, now I castle queenside. Safe. I can push my pawns and attack. Okay, so does he respond? He or she responds by moving their pawn to e4, attacking my pawn on d5. I take. They take, I take, they take, and then I move my pawn to attack both the bishop. Okay, bishop retracts to d3. Then I move my other pawn, attacking, more of the king side. Then they retract their particular queen to d1 on the home rank. Then I keep on moving. They keep on moving. I move my pawn to h4, and then they reciprocate by responding to their white pawn to h3 to counter that, to prevent me from taking control of that pawn, so I can move my queen out and start attacking. I take. They take. And I keep on moving my pawns. They reciprocate by moving their pawns on my side because they have this equivalent type of attack because we're on opposite sides. I start attacking the queen with a pawn to g4. The pawn takes, I take, queen takes. I attack with my rook on that file, and they retort behind that pawn on h3. Now I'm setting up the rook so I can have a double file. And here the double rook on one file. Then they respond by moving their bishop to f4, attacking that pawn, and also protecting the king in case there's some problem. Hopefully, I attack that particular bishop with pawn to e5. Sorry. They take my queen. I take back with my king. Now this goes into endgame mode. I move my rooks into ready mode. They attack my king with their bishop on f5. I move my king outside. They move their bishop, their pawn, protecting themselves, to g3. I take, they take. Then I attack their bishop on f4 by moving my bishop, black bishop, to g5. Then they take, I take with my rook. Now he pushes his pawn. I take their pawn on e5 with my knight from c6. Now this gets very dangerous because you have your particular king open out in the open, and you have two rooks, and this could be devastating if I'm not very careful. And I have my knight pawn pinned with my king, so I have to figure out some way to get out of this. So I take the bishop. They take it, and then I go for the check. Okay. Now this is a very very controversial call, but this is the best I can do in this situation that I could think of. And then the king goes on, and then now the game proceeds into very dangerous zone. I have to somehow, and then he takes my knight. King comes out of the first rank, first file, or first rank, and then I keep on moving my rook, trying to take his pawns. He keeps on checking me. I have to stay very careful so that prevent him from checkmating me. And so they keep on moving back and forth, and then he gets tired of this. Then he protects his king. I take more pieces, and here this is the judgment call of the day. I keep on checking, they keep on protecting, I keep on checking, and I move on. He's hesitant to take any of my pawns, which is kind of controversial. And then I take finally here. And then it gets really exciting here. Now I have have a rook and a pawn versus 3 pawns. Who's gonna win? So I keep on pushing, making sure that I'm near my pawns and moving them to get in the way. And you can see here, this is the most exciting finish to a game I've ever had in a while. I keep on checking his king. He does not check me with perpetual check. And then this is the coolest part right here. And he takes. I advance to queen. He takes, and the game is a draw. I came back from that deficit to draw the game, which is amazing, considering that I was down in pieces, but I was up in pawns. And he did kind of a lazy job of trying to take advantage of his double rook advantage. Anyways, this is one hell of a game. If you like this game, please continue to watch and subscribe to my channel. This is Shyamal.